If we made tier lists by tournament win percentage, Wario and Duck Hunt would be the best characters in the game. That's right, Duck Hunt and Wario have the best win-loss ratio at the professional level of Ultimate. Wario wins around 61% of his matches, and Duck Hunt wins around 60%. After watching MKLeo body people with Joker, or Dabuz destroy people with Olimar, or Mars clear the bracket with ZSS, you might be pretty surprised to hear this. What about the top tiers? How do they not have the best win percentages? Don't worry, by the end of this video you'll have the answers. You won't get all the answers because, well, this is Smash after all. In Smash, it's extremely hard to find the answers, but if you're interested in finding the one place where we have most of the answers, then go to ProGuides.com using the description link below, where we have a great course with Zero, and we have a ton of resources to help you guys get really good at Smash. Alright, let's talk about where we got our sources from. We got our tournament win rates and data from SSB World, a website that compiles tons of Ultimate Tournament videos and bracket data. Their database doesn't cover everything, and probably no database ever could, since Smash is pretty much played everywhere at almost every level. However, SSB World has one of the biggest collections of tournament data, and while not complete, it is very reliable. Looking at the percentages, we can get an idea of how often characters win tournament sets, as well as how often they're played. We can also get an idea of why we don't want to use this kind of data to make tier lists, but we'll get into that at the end. Right now, the immediate question you're probably asking is, how Duck Hunt? Are you kidding? Wario is a little bit more understandable. After all, Gluttony, Europe's best player, mains him, and lots of other pros keep him as a pocket pick. He's in our A tier on our list, so we think he's pretty good. Duck Hunt though? Duck Hunt is just baffling, like in pretty much every sense of the word. What am I watching? Is this even Smash? Are we doing a Smash video right now? Because it looks more like a dog and a bird are fighting a highly trained military intelligence officer in a Pokemon church. And I just can't. Well, anyway, we've studied the arcane secrets of Duck Hunt Dog so that you don't have to. After looking into the terrible lore and uncovering the horrifying truths behind this dog-bird combo, we've come to 3 explanations for his win rate. 1. Tricky gameplay. 2. Character rarity. And 3. Raito. Character specialists. Alright, so let's start off with Duck Hunt's kit. Duck Hunt is what you'd call a trap character. Trap characters succeed by making an obstacle course of hitboxes on the stage. These obstacles narrow down the options their opponents can safely pick from. The best case for the trap character is to narrow down their opponent's options to just one. Then the trap character just has to cover that option to win neutral. Even if the zoner narrows things down to 2 or 3 options, they've got a much better chance at reading their opponent. When you face a trap character in a tournament, they're thinking 3 steps ahead of you and are setting you up to pick a bad option. That's the trap. Like Snake, Duck Hunt is tricky to deal with because they punish you into making a bad move. One of the reasons Duck Hunt Dog has such a high tournament win rate is because of that tricky gameplay. The normal plans and ideas players usually have in neutral go out the window against a good Duck Hunt main. You can't just run in and outbox a Duck Hunt because the game's not a boxing match anymore, it's an obstacle course. Duck Hunt's also got a crazy strong defensive option in the form of his can. Duck Hunt's neutral special makes an explosive can appear. You probably knew that, but what you might not have known is that it generates on frame 1. That's right, it appears at 1/60th of a second. That means that Duck Hunt can summon the can to break out of combos if it's not true. If there's even 1/60th of a second where Duck Hunt isn't in hit stun, they can summon their can, making their opponent hit it, which effectively stops the combo. That's a huge deal because it stops the aggression of a lot of strong rushdown characters. It means you gotta know your combos down to the frame to fight Duck Hunt. The trick to beating a trap character is knowing how to avoid their traps in the first place, but knowing how to play against Duck Hunt is pretty hard because the character is so rare. That's right, we're on to point number 2, character rarity. Trap characters like Duck Hunt get a big buff when their opponent doesn't understand how they work, and nobody understands how Duck Hunt works exactly. Duck Hunt Dog is one of life's terrible mysteries like the Bermuda Triangle or the Big Bang. Because there are so few Duck Hunt mains in most regions, most players get annihilated when they run into a good Duck Hunt player. That's why Duck Hunt has a better win rate than Snake, even though everybody thinks that Snake is the better character. So many people play Snake that it's easier to learn how he works. The Bird Dog Beast becomes all the more beatable when you learn the dark, eldritch truths behind it. If you watch Raito's tournament runs, then you've seen what matchup experience can do. Raito regularly blows through brackets until top 8. Then he beats a very good player and winners. Then loses to that same good player in the loser's bracket rematch. That's partly because a very good player got matchup experience. It's happened with Dabuz and with Elegant at the Mango. Dabuz and Elegant both probably got better matchup experience in their loss against Raito than they had during the whole year. While we're talking about Raito, let's talk about character specialists. The character specialists are the third big reason behind Duck Hunt's win rate. Raito, Sakai Doggo, and Ozone all put serious work into Duck Hunt. These guys will often end a tournament with a positive win-loss ratio. Meanwhile, there aren't many new players picking up Duck Hunt, and new players would normally go 0-2 and bring the character's win rate down, but nobody's actually picking Duck Hunt. There's just character specialists like Raito who use the power they gain from bargaining with the dark gods of the arcade to win games. Alright, now let's talk about Wario. Where Duck Hunt is mysterious, Wario is strong. Unlike Duck Hunt, Wario is high tier. Still, that doesn't explain why Wario's got a better win rate than the top tiers above him. What might explain it is his down special, Waft. Wario's Waft is a fart that almost instantly KOs opponents once they're at mid-percents. The percents vary based off who Wario is facing, but his Waft is hugely dangerous to everyone in the cast. Waft works a lot like Jigglypuff's Rest, where it gets more dangerous the less you know how to play around it. Like Melee Jigglypuff, Wario has a lot of setups into Waft. He can up tilt and up air into Waft at the right percents, getting an early stock. Waft does take him time to charge up to its full power, but Wario will usually get 2 fully charged Wafts a game, which is huge. Like Duck Hunt, there aren't a ton of low-level Wario players as well. Wario isn't exactly, a sexy character, so people don't really pick him up right away. That means a lot of people don't know how to play around his Waft. Players don't know how to DI to avoid combos, and they don't know that getting caught up by a tilt at certain percents means imminent death. In general, the things people need to know in order to dodge the Waft are advanced, like spacing, safe options, DI, and SDI. You can learn all of these techniques from us at Pro Guides using the description link below if you want to learn some more advanced concepts. On top of the killer fart, Wario is a mess of aerial hitboxes that are fast and hard to punish. For lots of players, that can be overwhelming. All those hitboxes make Wario good at punishing mistakes and whiffs. Wario's kit makes him a menace to low and mid-tier players as well, and that means his mains will usually get at least 3 wins in a bracket and get a positive win rate. Wario also benefits from being a go-to pocket pick for the pros. Zackray, Tweak, and Kameme will break him out for the right matchup. Gluttony mains him as well and uses him for every matchup. That really helps Wario's win rate because he's often getting played by pros in matchups that favor him. That's not the case for other top tiers like Snake, Palutena, Pikachu, or Peach, who are usually solo-mained by pros. If MVD runs into a bad matchup with Snake, he's likely going to tough it out. If Zackray, Tweak, or Kameme find a bad Wario matchup, then they'll use Wolf, Pokemon Trainer, and Mega Man respectively. Those are all potential L's that Nintendo's stinkiest gentleman is avoiding. Now that we've talked about why these 2 weird characters have such high win rates, we hope it's already clear why we don't use stuff like win rates to make our tier lists. In case it's not clear, it's because data has its flaws, and it doesn't necessarily show characters' strengths. Win rates easily get skewed by character specialists or by how top players use characters and by how the character plays as well. We use a mix of analysis, tournament results, community opinion, and competitive opinion to make our tier lists instead. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested in taking your Smash skills to the next level, then please check out ProGuides.com using the description link below. That's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck in your next few games, and we'll see you on the battlefield.